Good morning. RT Bear here coming to you live from Hack Shack Studio. How is everyone? Hope you're all doing good. I know I am. So far, so good. Seems like well, I got up a little earlier, so it seems like I've already put a day in. So much happening. First off, had a wonderful breakfast. My wife and I, we're not big Whataburger fans as far as the burger, but they make these taquitos, these breakfast tacos, and they're really pretty good. So we treated ourselves to breakfast tacos, and we take Inco Arrow out, and he got himself a taquito as well. So he's a little spoiled. He loves going through the drive-through with us. So he's a lot better now. He's better behaved, and all the ladies like him. So they say nice things to him, and sometimes they give him treats. They give him treats. So he looks forward to that. And I'll tell you, when that dog gets excited, he'll jump straight up. He's like a pogo stick. He'll just jump straight up. He'll jump, I don't know, maybe 5 feet in the air. It's pretty crazy, and he'll just keep doing it over and over again. It brings a smile to my face. But yeah, we start off with that, and then it's just a gorgeous day. And also, I had to update my StreamYard. I'll tell you, man, StreamYard is getting a little bit of getting a little full of themselves, man, because I had a paid service, and then my legendary computer crash. Something happened because I lost my service, and so now they're telling me I maxed out. So then I had to pay their blackmail money, which is like an it's like a they give you a special deal, like a 60% off or something like that, right? So then you pay it so you can do the show, right? So I had to do that just before the show. And then the thing is, that's the introductory rate, right? But then the next year, and it automatically renews, um, it doubles. It's going to double. Like, how do you do that? Okay, like you go, okay, well, here's the rate. It's still high, even with the discount, the 60% off. But next year, it's going to double. It's not going to be 60% more, which is what they discounted it for. It's going to double. It's like, what the heck? And then it automatically renews. So if you want to get yourself out of, I guess, StreamYard hell, you have to actually cancel it yourself. It will automatically renew. So wow, I'm like, I mean, that's pretty amazing. Nothing just goes up in small increments. Everything like goes up like crazy, like insurance from year to year. Um, oh, well, it's going to be 60% more. It's going to be 80% more. It's like, what? Do you just think everybody's made out of cash? It's so amazing. But anyway, I'm here. I'm StreamYarding, so I got all the bells and whistles. I can get 10 people in here now. I can start taking advantage of some of the features, so I don't have to use the StreamYard duck anymore in the corner. I can put my own Inco up there, and I can customize things, which is what I'm going to do after this stream. So I'll be back at least for a year. Um, who knows after that? Because I don't. But anyway, man, it's always good to hang out with you guys. So this is the morning hullabaloo. We should go for about 2 hours until noon my time. And it's usually like a Q&A. You guys can ask me questions. We just kind of hang out. I don't have really a lot. I have this Lilo and Stitch trailer. I got a few things to say about Lilo and Stitch as an IP, so we can get into that. And then I got some like they have these ugly sweaters, so I have some ugly sweater ideas that I want to show you for Christmas and see what you guys have to say. And then, of course, we got our campaigns going, so I'll probably talk a little bit about that. But let's see how you guys are doing. Crazy Cat with this big old wrench Morning Art. That was fantastic interview with Katie did yesterday. Art, natural, and organic conversation, as Katie highlighted. Your beautiful art and books. Yeah, she is a blast. She is a lot of fun. Um, I had no idea. Like, you don't really know. Like, I never really listened to her show before that. I knew of her, and a lot of people recommended you should go on her show. So she came highly recommended, but I really didn't know what I was in for. And to be honest, I kind of like situations like that. I'm not an over preparer. I actually kind of like just being thrown in the deep end and figuring stuff out on the fly. I don't know if it always makes for the best entertainment, but I like that. I think I get too in my head. So if I have too much time to think about it, it's just not a good thing. So I just like kind of free forming and just doing whatever comes up. So yeah, I had a blast with her as well, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, Crazy Cat. And if you don't know what we're talking about, it's Katie Dids. It's her YouTube channel. Go over there, subscribe, and watch the video. Like it if you like it. Ring the bell, and she'll send you out notifications so you know next time she goes live. But yeah, a lot of good people in CG, and yeah, I really appreciate it. Every damn day I wake up, I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty amazing. I don't know how I got here, but I'm very thankful I am here. So we got Edwin Buzz. Hey Buzz, can I just call you Buzz? Hell, morning peeps. Yeah. Ooh, Steven, I wanna rock with you. Rock with drawing. Artie Bear. Yeah. Um, hey Steven, should we do like a fan art contest for black and white? We did one for Man versus Machine, and we did the trading cards. We should probably do something like that again. The only reason I'm hesitant is because it took us so long with that campaign. I felt like I was dragging along the contest and it had kind of lost some of the steam. So maybe we'll do something towards like as we get closer to finishing the book. Black and white, since the father, we're 23 pages into the book already, so it's a third of the way done. I don't have all the inks done, but as far as breakdowns, we have 23 pages. Um, the story is written, dialogue, everything, and so it's coming along. And so as it progresses, maybe we can do some of this stuff so it doesn't feel like it's going on too long, that kind of thing. Because I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys did too. Stephen Rockwood did one of the pieces of artwork, the black and white pieces that was chosen. So he got his own trading card. So it was a Stephen Rockwood trading card, and it had some of his contact info on the back. I think there was a small bio, and then it had his contact, so it could kind of work as a resume. So, so everybody got to reap the reward. So everybody that backed the book got 5 extra trading cards because there were 5 winners, and then the winners, we sent out a batch of cards so they could kind of use them as I don't know, like resumes, or like you could give them as business cards, things like that. And I thought it was like kind of a win-win. I liked it, and I liked all the different artwork that you guys did. So we got Leg Kick One. Hello, Art. What's up? We got Mighty Geek, the Mighty Geek Studios. What's new, Art? Yeah, just getting stuff done. I really feel good about the pages. I do have some pages I want to show you too, of black and white Sins of the Father. I like to show you guys because I like to keep the excitement going. And also, it's real hard for me to sit on these things. Like, I want to share them. I want to show the stuff off. So I got 2 pages that I'm going to show you, of what the black and white looks like, and how it's coming along. We got Pedro Ang. Speaking of coming along, Pedro's working on the High Octane Adventure Volume 2, and he's doing the writing, penciling, inking, and coloring. And that book is coming along very, very well. It looks fantastic. Pedro is quite the find. He is CG's own homegrown Pedro Ang. Good morning, everyone. Looking sharp, Mr. T Bear. Thank you, brother. And Crazy Cat Katie did interview with Art on her Good Morning Comicsgate show. Can be seen here. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it'll be easier for you guys to get in there and just tell like in the description or in the notes, just say how much you enjoyed it or if you didn't enjoy it. You know, feedback is always good. And so who knows? Maybe I'll be on Katie's show again. And I found out, like, I was talking to my wife. I was like, what is Katie did?" And she goes, "It's a flower." So I thought, "Oh, okay, that'd be great." You know, women love flowers. So what I do is I find some of these Katie did flowers, and then I would give them to her on the show. So I'd have like an image, and I go, here's the flowers." And as I did the research, I was like, "No, it's a grasshopper. It's a big green grasshopper. That's a Katie did." And so apparently her name, I know she said something, um, but they ended up just calling her, as a kid, it was a nickname. And so it just stuck. But I was trying to think, like, did you jump all the time like a grasshopper? Like, what was usually there's some correlation there. We got Wise Guys Entertainment, Hail All. StreamYard got super expensive. Yeah, holy shit balls did it. I'll pay their blood money just because I really enjoy doing this. But overhead expenses, it just keeps going up. Like, also, I just got a notice from my printer. Like, I finally found a printer, Pamela and I trust, and we also like the person we deal with. I don't want to give away names or anything, but she comes out, like, she was just out here in Texas and we hung out socially and stuff like that. So it's a pretty tight connection I have with this printing company. But then they just announced that their rates are going up, their printing costs are going up. So it's like, holy shit, man, it was already expensive. Now it's going up again. So it just, I don't know what businesses think like everybody can just afford this. So I know shipping costs, like mailing costs, everything, it just went up as well. So the Oodles of Doodles campaign, it reflected the actual shipping price. So we still absorbed some of the cost of the new higher cost for shipping, but it still was high. So on Black and White, Pamela and I just talked because I mean I want you guys to have the books, right? And I, I want you to have the books. And so we kept the shipping costs bare bones. Like, it went up a little bit, but not as high as it really could have. And so we're going to absorb some of the cost with the shipping on Black and White Sins of the Father, just because, I mean, when you start looking at the scale of, like, you go, the book is this much and then the shipping is this much, like, a lot of times the shipping is almost as much as the book. And so that, I know, like, when I buy stuff, it becomes hard to justify if the shipping is almost as much as the product. So somehow, you know I don't know. I don't think the post office is going to fix it. But I'm hoping that somehow there's a better resolution for this stuff moving forward. Crazy Cat, thank you. Good use of the wrench. Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too is my art book. And here's the link if you want to pick one up. Click it and back it today. Steven says the trading card was a neat thing. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do something again for this campaign, but we'll do it later as we go because the book is going to be in demand. I know you're not supposed to say this anymore, but I know you guys know the whole drill. Like 30 and 30. With Sins of the Father, we just went a straight 60. I know supposedly it's supposed to help the algorithm, and then we can act like, oh, well, maybe I won't roll it over for another 30. How many times does it always rolls over. So I just figured like, well, let's move past that, see how it goes, and and then it'll be in demand. So as it's in demand, we'll see how the book's progressing, and if it looks like it's moving pretty well, which it is already, then we'll do something like a fan art contest or something like that. So B.A. Turner, Vigilantes Creed, is in the chat. Uh, Good to have you. We got a good buddy, Sheldon Martin. What's up, Grasshopper? Get her tobacco then, or a little suit with a top hat and a cane. Dress her up like a classy grasshopper. Caleb Reynolds, Hubba Hubba. Wait, what is that? Hubba Lubba Lub, a GMO. Very, very cool. Oh, Katie's here. We were just talking you up and talking about how much fun. And I guess a lot of people in the chat saw the show yesterday morning and were commenting about it. So thanks again for having me. I had a bunch of fun with, hanging out with you and stuff. And Joe Bernardo, my brother from another mother, Aloha Art. I'm going to say it's ahead of time since you're currently not on Facebook. Happy Thanksgiving and to you and your family. Yeah, you guys, happy Thanksgiving as well. You know what I'm gonna do? I declared it. I never really take a full day off, right? So sometimes I'll just like psychologically say, I'm gonna take the day off. I'm not gonna work today. And so then like half the day goes by and then I do something else. And then I'm like, nah, I should be working. So then I'll work in the evening or something like that. But mark my words. This Thanksgiving, this week, I'm taking a full day off. I'm gonna take a full day off, and I'm gonna do a crazy thing. I'm gonna do a crazy thing. We did have planned, so we bought a bunch of food and everything, and we did have some friends that were gonna come over, and they were gonna bring their family over here, and then we were gonna cook for everybody. Well, mainly Pamela's gonna cook for everybody, and so they kind of felt like too obligated, like that's a lot, to have somebody do for them. It's absolutely no problem. And we already bought all the food and everything. So then they said, nah, we're gonna stay. We'll feed our own or whatever. And so then it's just gonna be us. It's gonna be the two of us. So what I'm gonna do, and sometimes I think, well, I'm not going to go all out this year, but I am going out all this year, and I will take pictures. I will take pictures. Every bit of Christmas decorating that we own is going out this year, and I'm going to do it on Thanksgiving. So it seems kind of sacrilegious, but I'm going to decorate on Thanksgiving Day. All of our neighbors already have their lights up and everything. Some people already have trees up. So I feel like I'm a little late anyway, but I'm going to use Thanksgiving Day to decorate. Is that is that crazy? But that's what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm getting the tree down. Since we moved here, we don't do fresh trees anymore. So we got this it's easy to put together. It's about 6 feet, 6.5 feet tall. And it already has the lights hooked into it, but it looks really, really good. You would have to look at it really close to see that it's not real. And so it's already got the lights hooked into it. So you just kind of snap it together. There's like three pieces and the base kind of forks out. And then you just plug it in and boom, you got the tree. I know Pamela's going to want more lights this year. So sometimes we'll like add another string of lights to it. And she likes the gold lights. So we'll probably put our gold lights in there and just go all out, just balls to the wall Christmas this year. I might actually even buy some new stuff. Pamela said there's these like, there's these golden deer at Costco, and they're pretty reasonably priced. There's three of them. like a mom, dad, and a kid deer, and they're big and they're kind of animated. They do like some slight movement, and I might pick those up. Either that or there's these four snowmen, like little snowman family, and put that up. And I have lighting so I can put spotlights on things so they won't just be in the dark. So if I have little figures and stuff and they don't light up, I can light them up. So it's gonna be intense, man. It's gonna be like vacation, you know. Our neighbors they get theirs professionally done. And to be honest, if you're gonna put lights on the roof, get it professionally done here because the pitches of these roofs crazy. They are steep, man. I would never get up on those things. Never, ever, ever. Let's see. Steven says, okay, I just got an idea for black and white fan art. It will be good. Well, are you going to let us know? Or you going to send it to me? Or what are you going to do? What are you going to do, man? This is grassroots, Steven. Making this up as we go along. Good morning, Katie Did's channel. Yeah. Pedro says, hey, what's up, Joe Bernardo? Joe's got some fans. Joe is much loved. John Porton. Hello, everybody. Genuine Comics. Hey, Genuine, in the chat, let me know. Were we trying to get together for a show? Let me know. And because my social media has been all kind of jacked, and I think we were communicating through Twitter. But let me know. I just feel bad because I know that there's some of the stuff that's getting through the cracks, and I don't want to seem like I'm shining people on because that's not my intent, for damn sure. Howdy, Genuine Comics. Very cool. All my interior decor is, including my village, is up. Oh shit. We have a village too. Oh no. We have a village. We haven't put it up since we've been here. Ooh, maybe I could put it take Batman down, turn it into a Batman village. But Saturday I'm putting up the outside lights and decor. So I'll be right there with you, bro. Yeah, take pictures, man. Show them off on your social media. Aggressive Christmas decorations are the best. They are. It's like Christmas, you can't really overdo it, can you? I don't think you can. I think the goal is to have so much lights that you can see it from a satellite, right? Steven says, I'll link you to the art when it's done. Oh, sweet. I always like to see new black and white artwork, you guys. And if it's good, I'll always use it. Sheldon Martin, hey Art, do that thing where it's a dummy dressed up as you. So that is under your legs. I think you can buy those things now, and it's crooked looking, like it's about to fall. Yeah, yeah. I don't think anybody's sucked in by that anymore. I think there's a Grinch one too that you can get that's like that. Pedro says, "Yeah, Art, get in touch with Dave at Genuine Comics. He's bona fide niche. Hill to the yeah. Art, I almost have the two 11 by 17 split pictures of Whitney and Reed, inspired by the idea of the statue split. Oh, by the yin yang. Sweet. Joe's a really good artist, you guys. If you don't follow him on social media, do so. I love this name, K Plan 1142. Greetings. Beep bop boop boop bop, because he's got the droid there. Okay, what do I do? What do I do? You know what? I'm gonna get right into this. Um, present. All right, you guys. This just dropped. This is the trailer to Lilo and Stitch, the live action. I don't know why and what's possessing Disney to keep doing these things, but I wanted kind of use it as an excuse just to talk about Lilo and Stitch and kind of like the creative, like behind the scenes goings on. So here we go. So it's just a little trailer, you guys. All the time. I'll tell you, like the people in the background look horrible. Like are they going to use real actors? I don't know really much about this, but I don't know. I don't really. I don't. For me, I don't think any of the live action stuff has been successful. When our daughter was younger, Amanda, we watched some of those things just because you're always kind of looking for things to do with your kids, and so we watched some of that stuff. And I don't remember any of those things being better than the original animated. And to be honest, I think animation. There's certain things you can do in animation that you can't get away with live action. So, like Lion King, like why would you do that live action? I mean, one, it's all animated anyways. You're just trying to make it look realistic, so it's still animated. Um, and two, like all the broad like comedy, the humor that was in Lion King, um, the original cartoon, you can't really do because you're kind of locked into this more realistic approach. So anything you do is going to seem out of place, with the humor. So all that stuff, all those montages and things, you can't really do those live action. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if it's good or not. It didn't look like it was good. I don't really understand the reasoning behind it. But anyway, they keep doing it. And so the Lilo and Stitch, the Stitch character uh, looks like the animated, just a little bit more realistic, like window dressing over it. It looks like the attitude is going to be the same. I don't know why, but they usually retell the same story that they already told. Like this seems so like counterproductive. Like if I had to retell a story that I already told a few years later, I, I wouldn't be able to really get any excitement up for it because I'd go, I already told this story. I want to tell a different story. And I don't really understand. I don't understand the business idea behind it. And I don't understand the fan response. Like, do you really want to see a live action Snow White with animated dwarves? Like, it's still animated. There's most of that stuff is all generated backgrounds. It's all animated anyway. All you're doing is putting a live actor in an animated backdrop with animated characters. Like I don't really see a purpose or a reason to even do any of these things. So, anyways, they're hell bent on doing it. That Snow White, I was gonna play the trailer, but it looks so awful. I don't want to give that thing any attention. Um, I think that Rachel Zellweger or whatever Zellger or whatever her stupid name is. I think she's a horrible human being. I think Disney needs to cut their losses with her. And yeah, there's nothing good about it that I can see. You can see like up on my walls, like I got Disney animation. Like I'm a big animation fan. I love like animation, like classic animation, like hand drawn animation. They've done away with that, so now we have digital. But even some of the digital stuff isn't bad, like all the Pixar stuff. But like Lilo and Stitch, as a movie, as a like a creative property, like an IP, I thought like it had a great spirit. Like one, it was hand drawn, and they went back to kind of like a watercolor, like Disney watercolor look. So the look of the movie was different. And also what I liked about it was kind of like it was like this Hawaiian setting in this small like town or village. And then there were like other worlds. Like there was this alien universe that existed parallel to ours. And you'd never really seen that in a Disney like animation on that level. You've never really seen that kind of stuff before. So I found it like refreshing. Like the story was, it felt original. It felt really cool, right? So there's this alien creature that escapes and then ends up on our planet. Um, and then this little girl falls in love with it. Um, she thinks it's a dog, but it's not. And they never really get into it. Like that's another good thing about animation versus live action is like you can take major leaps of logic with animation. Like nobody ever like once they adopted this thing, nobody ever said like I don't think that's a dog. Like it just kind of they sort of addressed it when they adopted it and then it just moved on from there. So everybody accepted this thing as a dog. Um Nobody ever questioned it. And then like the scale of the story just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you realize this is some kind of alien creature. But at the same time, the key characters never really make reference to it. They just kind of go with the flow. And that's something you can do in animation way easier than you can in a movie. Because in a movie, you start relating to these characters because they're real people. So you start thinking like, why isn't this person putting it together? Like this is not a dog. This is some kind of alien creature, and we should be, a little nervous about this. What does this mean? If there's an alien creature here, then are there other aliens? Then all of a sudden it becomes a different movie, um, and that's why they could get away with it with the cartoon. But anyway, Chris Saunders, I I'm a big fan of Chris Saunders. I think he creates great stuff. He's like not just an animator, storyboard artist who's done great things for Disney, but he's also like a great creative mind, an original creative mind. Like his character drawings aren't really like traditional Disney stuff. It still has a lot of charm, like Disney charm, but it's not. So there's this weird gravity that happens with his characters, like they're thick, like their legs are thick, and there's just like proportional things that he does that nobody else does. So already, like it has this original look, and they went with that. Like Disney, in their wisdom, didn't try to condition him to do something different. And also, one of the things is that, from what I understand, Chris Saunders kind of bucked the Disney system because Disney is such a corporation. They're so corporate that if you're going to pitch ideas in that structure, you have to reserve time. I'm not kidding. There's a room. You reserve the time in that room, and everything's recorded, right? So if you want to meet with this guy and pitch this idea or talk about this idea or whatever, you have to book the time. You have to go in this room and you have to talk it out in this room. And it's probably, I don't know, Disney just, they're control freaks, but they probably want to make sure that, well, this guy created this guy created that. Other than that, I don't really know the purpose of it other than just being absolutely psycho controlling over these properties. But anyway, excuse me, Chris Saunders, and I think it's Dean Devlin or Devin. Um, they actually just talked amongst themselves. They'd go out to dinner, they'd go out to lunch, they'd hang out socially. and they talk about the ideas. And then like Andre Dijas, who did the he was the main animator for Lilo. He's brilliant. I actually own some of his work. He did Jafar in Aladdin. I own a sequence of hand drawings, his drawings. I own a sequence of beautiful. One of my like top things I own. It's so important to me. I'm still looking for a place to put it. Like I have some of my stuff on the wall over here. You've seen it, like the way the camera used to be set up, but might put it where that map is. It's not colorful though. It's just black and white. It's just pencil drawings on a sheet of paper. But anyway, they got him and they start taking like just hanging out with him. They didn't do one of these big meetings or anything. So they kind of built this thing without the Disney bubble, without like the Disney control. So they kind of built it like an indie film, like an independent movie. And so these guys, so they could have control of everything, they kind of built this thing and then they brought it to Disney. And I don't know how they didn't get their hands slapped or how they didn't get fined or whatever kind of retribution Disney would, unleash on you if you don't do it the corporate way. But they didn't. And so they let these guys kind of do their own thing. I do believe that's why it was successful because it was more of a pure creator idea versus a corporate mandate idea. And so I think that's why it was so cool, why it was so well received, and it's still like hugely popular. Like if you go to the park, there's there's Stitch stuff all over the place. Uh, Amanda has some friends that are just like that's all she buys them as gifts, like little Lilo and Stitch junk. And so anyway, I really like the idea that they created that IP kind of independent of the studio. So it was more of a like an indie type of approach. And I heard like even Marvel in the day, like especially that first Iron Man, you hear a lot of the actors say it felt like an independent film. It didn't feel like a corporate film. So then, I think also the reason why that first Iron Man, it is there, there's a few of the Marvel Universe movies that stand out, and that's definitely one of them. It doesn't feel like all the other movies because I don't think it was corporately mandated. It was kind of organically built, and I think that's why it's so good. And I understand why corporations do this, but you're not always going to get the best out of your creative people because if they feel like they have a stock in it or stake in it, they're going to do things differently. And so I think that's why you have this Lilo and Stitch, because the corporation got out of the way. Like the corporation support it, put the money into it, get out of the way. Like when I first started comic books, like editorially speaking, the editor kind of guided you and helped you with your vision. And you'd pitch it. So as long as your vision still worked within the corporate, like you weren't straying too far from character, from the world, all those things, and you stayed within those guidelines. They let you do what you wanted to do, and they just manifested the pieces so you could do it, right? So they would make sure that there was a schedule. They'd make sure there was money. They would make sure that there was the proper time to develop it. All those things, like editorial speaking, those are important things. But putting your thumb on the creatives and then mandating or thinking that you know better than they do, I always thought hire good people and get the hell out of the way, right? Just make sure that they have a good place to create. Make sure that they have all the resources and materials that they need to do this thing, and then get the hell out of the way. And and you can keep them on budget. A lot of creatives don't necessarily need $1 billion to do something. They just need to know that there is support there, you know, um, and they'll make it work within the confines of whatever the budget is. For the most part, they do. And so I never really got to do too much one-on-one with Chris Saunders, but for a while, he would do the San Diego Comic-Con, and most people didn't know who he was. A lot of animators and stuff, people don't really follow. Like, I'm one of those, weird geeks that do follow that stuff. And so a lot of times there'd be nobody at his table. And so I would get to talk to him. I have a Chrono Mechanics quote. I gave him the books, and I got a quote by him. So I got a quote by a bunch of different, like Steven Silver. He's a brilliant animated. He does design work. He did Clerks. He did Kim Possible. He did Danny Phantom. He did a ton of stuff for Nickelodeon. And there's like even Doug TenNapel, with Cat Scratch and Earthworm Jim and stuff like that. So I got along with those guys. I got quotes by those guys for Chrono, and so yeah, Chris liked the Chrono Mechanics stuff, and so we would just sit and talk. He eventually got to know that, like, I wasn't just this guy. Like, I was a professional, and so then we started, as we would talk, over the years, it would be more of like a mutual respect kind of thing. And so just a really good creative guy. And I think he did a comic book, some kind of like panda comic or something like that. Just, I love the style. I love his take on things. Um, and if you don't know who the guy is, Disney animator. He worked on a bunch of like the stuff in the day, like Lion King and Mulan, things like that. And so he got his big creative break with Lilo and Stitch, but he did him and Dean did How to Train Your Dragon. He did the Croods. Was it the Croods or the Croods? The Caveman Family, which is actually a pretty good movie. He was giving away these big, oversized posters that he drew of the Croods, and I still have mine somewhere around here. Just awesome looking. And what else did he do? Um, he just did that Wild Robot. That's him, I believe. Yeah, that's him. And I went to go see the movie. Pamela and I did. The the animation was gorgeous. Everything about it was really cool. It was kind of Miyazaki based. There was a lot of influences from the Miyazaki films that were brought in. Even the robot design kind of looked Miyazaki esque, and it was good. But the visuals were really, really good. The story, it seemed like it wasn't really that fleshed out. Like, and I'm not really trying to pat myself on the back, but if I could have done the next draft, if I could have written the next draft based on the one that they filmed, I would have ironed out all the problems that were in there. And maybe, well, actually, Pamela and I, we run things by each other, and she had similar observations. So there were some pretty glaring issues with it, and most of it had to do with just the way the humans were portrayed, and even the alien race uh, wasn't that great. So sometimes you see these movies and you see like what they're focused on, and what they're focused on is brilliant, but then some of the other story elements just go the wayside because they're not that interested in it. Hey Pamela, what was your take on the Wild Robot?
Was a really good family movie. Um, yeah, I thought it was nice.
Yeah, I thought the design work was really, really cool. What was the thing? It was like the way the humans were portrayed or something, right?
Yeah, they were aggressive.
And mean spirited,
Yeah, the
war,
first thought was to go in and just
destroy.
yeah to force the robot to go back, and it was just yeah, the people were not nice.
Yeah, it was kind of like E.T. If you took that one character out, the one character that said he saw the ET when he was a kid too, and he kind of understood what was going on. So there was a little bit of like heart that was given to these scientists or the government. This didn't have that. Like the government, or I don't want to spoil too much, but the human part of the story, they portrayed humans as like just horrible, horrible. And I just thought like there was so much wonderment to this one robot that it seemed like the message of the film was getting derailed by the way the humans were reacting to this robot. And anyway, I think they kind of messed up the movie with that. But anyway, that's his
Plus,
newest.
they did make things a little. All of a sudden, the animals knew how to make fire, and but again, for a family movie for kids, it was very entertaining,
Yeah.
and the visuals were awesome.
Yeah, it was just watch the movie just for the visuals. Everything about that thing is gorgeous and it's inspiring. Yeah, yeah, bro, like it wasn't like for me, like I can suspend disbelief as long as everything kind of works. And so we're watching the film and the robot could make fire. So what the robot did was kind of make it easier for the animals to exist, right? So it was kind of, I don't know, I didn't like the idea, but it was kind of like changing nature. So the robot, like it was an island, somehow, like there's animals, there's food chain, right? So there's animals that kill other animals and that's their food, right? And it just kind of keeps going. Like everybody knows, like the food chain. And so the robot kind of brings all the animals together in a way that they're not food for each other. I don't remember if it figures out how to feed them without them eating each other. I don't remember the details. But anyway, it builds this big like ark, like Noah's Ark, but it's not a boat, but it's this big dome, right? And so then in the wintertime and stuff, all these animals could exist in there, um, kind of like, and then they could, I don't know, not have to worry about survival to the same extent. And so then also this robot makes fire. Okay, the robot makes fire. But then at the end of the film, you see the same like dome, and then you see the animals in there, and they're all huddled around this fire. And I'm thinking, what animal made this fire? Like this changes everything. You know what I mean? Wait a minute. An animal can just start a fire and stay warm. Like, what's next? I mean, this is going to evolve into like a Planet of the Apes situation very, very soon. So there was some stuff that really wasn't that thought out. It was kind of an entertaining idea, but not very well thought out. And then like some of the humans and just the aggressiveness, I thought was unnecessary. Maybe they were even thinking it was, I don't know. I don't want to say it was political, but it didn't really feel that way to me. Like it was a message film. Let me see. Let me see. Joe says my Christmas lights are inspired by the Griswold Christmas Vacation lights. Hit the extra power source. LOL. Hell yeah. Uh, this remake is unnecessary. Yeah. Um, Also, it's not the movie's not that old. Like, you know, you can remake some of these things, with new technology and stuff, and maybe, you can enhance it, but I don't I don't think so. Not with some of these things. There are movies that I would like to see redone, but not to the extent that Hollywood does it, right? So I there's certain movies that I really like. Like I one of my favorites is Big Trouble in Little China, but some of the effects are bad. They're not even borderline bad. They're bad, right? And I was just thinking, and there's no way they could budget for this. I don't know. It would have to be like John Carpenter would have to go, I just want to do this. So I'm going to somehow fundraise to do this. But what I'd like to see is keep all the actors' performances. Everything about that film is perfect. Like you cannot recast any of those characters. They're all so perfect in the role in the moment, right? So that's usually what Hollywood does wrong is they'll recast with all the wrong people, and then right then and there they lose the charm. Also, there's a sensibility that Hollywood used to be able to do. There used to be this like tongue in cheek, like it was a comedy, right? But it didn't telegraph that it was a comedy, right? So when Jack Burton is in that movie, he's not playing it like it's a joke. He's playing it straight. Like all those characters are playing it like it's straight. It's not a farce to them. It's not humor. They're playing it sincere. With current movies, they have to they have to give you a nod. They have to nod to the audience that this is corny or this is stupid or this is silly because that's their way of like letting you know that they understand that it's stupid, silly, and corny too, right? But what that does is it kind of ruins the experience because then there's like this cynicism to it. There isn't this purity to it. There isn't this like these characters aren't really engaged. Like somehow these characters understand in a bigger way what's going on. And they almost like understand that people are watching them. So they're going to give them a nod, like, let them know that it's a joke or it's silly or stupid. And that's kind of the difference between the way they used to make these things and the way they make them now, right? So my thing is the sensibility of that film is perfect as well. There are very few directors that can make that stuff work current day. Like I think James Gunn, like with the Guardians films, especially the first one, he was able to bring that humor into it, but at the same time, it was sincere. It fit. It didn't feel like that they were going, "Hey, this is stupid." "Hey, audience, look what we're doing. We're doing something dumb. Isn't this silly?" That kind of thing. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Um, so there are some directors that could do it, but take that film and then just with the technology now, you could redo all those special effects. Like you could redo those monsters, you could redo all that stuff. I mean, use a similar design, but just make it cool, right? And then all of a sudden, you have this kind of flawless movie, right? So you still have the actors' performances, you still have all the sets, you still have the sensibility, you have all that stuff's there, but just those cornier aspects that not even that they're corny, they're just bad. Redo those. And man, I tell you, those if they could remake movies like that, I would pay to see Big Trouble in Little China on the big screen, like director's cut or something like that, whatever they would call it to market it. I would do that in a heartbeat because I think that would be great, man. Because you're not that's lightning in a bottle. Sometimes you get that lightning in a bottle and you're not going to be able to recapture it. Look at how many times like Hollywood's tried to recapture like The Wizard of Oz. You can't do it. That original is the best, or the Judy Garland one, I should say. 'Cause I think there were movies before that. This remake is unnecessary, Pedro says. The story was properly told in animation. This is going to be graphically, what is that? Dissonant? It's just, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Uh, Stop remaking stuff and just make something new and different. Yeah, because what I'll tell you, it's it's tougher to make something brand new, like out of whole cloth, right? Because it's risky, because nobody really knows what it's going to do. So executives, like if they green light something, they go, okay, you know, what's it going to do? Well, we don't know, you know. So then they go, well, it's based on this, or it's kind of like this, kind of like that. So then they kind of go, okay, well, let's do it. Let's take a chance. You used to have people like Alan Ladd Jr. You used to have like people that ran studios that would take chances on things. Um, Alan Ladd Jr. was like, I don't, the Star Wars thing, I don't get it. I don't understand any of it. But he believed in George Lucas. He thought Lucas had what it took, right? So he didn't believe in Star Wars, but he believed in this guy. But it was enough to get the movie made. And you just don't have people like that anymore. So you have people that are like slaves to like numbers, or like, you know, oh, this did good, so then this will do good. Like Lilo and Stitch, the cartoon, we built a franchise around it. The character's popular. It just makes sense to put out a live action movie. Well, yeah, maybe. But the thing is, why was Lilo and Stitch a hit to begin with? Because you took a chance. You did something different. You know, you greenlit an idea that was outside the box, and it paid off for you. So you have the potential to build a new franchise with something like that, where you don't with the old. All you can do is try to remarket that. Who wants a live action version of Stitch when the animated version is so much cuter, right? Why would you want that? You wouldn't want that. Why would you want the Lion King characters like a real looking lion cub versus a cute animated version of it, right? That's what you would want. That's what you collect. That's what you do. It's just a real looking cat, you know? Like they exist. It's not that original. It's not that different, you know? So it's going to take some of these executives that have some cojones that will start greenlighting these ideas, because if you think about the stuff that Disney has taken a chance with Frozen, right? That was new. I mean, it was based on, you know, excuse me, on, you know, an old story, but a lot of the Disney stuff was based on books or stories to begin with. Um, so that worked. Even that Moana, I thought Moana was okay. I wanted to see, because I was thinking, because they had those giant like lava monsters and stuff, and they kind of delved into uh, like this what is that called, like the history of the island, and so there were all these like characters that were real. So it's kind of like Moana's like Sinbad. Like she goes on these adventures, and she doesn't have to stay on the island. She can sail to these different places. And so this story, or this IP, is saying these things exist, like the character with all the tattoos and stuff, like they're real people. These, oh, mythological characters, that's what the word I was trying to think of. They all exist. So what I would do is I would make it bigger. Like I would make more of these like mythic kind of characters that exist in her world, and that, you know, she figures out ways of fighting them or doing stuff. I think that's like, she's basically a female Sinbad to me. um and so just keep that up. But I wanted to see more of that. I know there was quite a bit in it if you think about it, but I wanted to see more of the cooler stuff, like I guess more monsters. I think there was this giant crab or turtle or something. It was like he was some kind of David Bowie character, and it was all like flashy and like glammed out. And I was like, that scene went on way too long. I didn't think it was all that interesting, but yeah, do more of that. So I did like the idea of Moana, but these are new IPs, so they can work. Just do more of that. I love Stitch. They use the Elvis music. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Joe says they can't use the the stretch and squash techniques. Um, yeah, you can't take advantage of all the cool stuff that you can do in animation. Yeah, Crazy Cat says, I only consider it a live action remake if Stitch is an audio animatronic puppet. Yeah, do something like that. Then maybe live action is always condensed. Sheldon says, funny. I'm drinking coffee with my huge Lilo and Stitch cup right now. I think most people have some kind of uh, paraphernalia from that movie. I don't think I do. I did. I had like the little PVCs, the old studio, but when I moved the studio from the studio to the house in California, I got rid of a lot of that stuff. So, Dragon Ball Evolution is why I will never watch live action movie again. Ooh, yeah, there's no point in it. I missed the hand-drawn animation of the original Lion King, Lilo and Stitch, the Beauty and the Beast, the cool thing. The Lord of the Rings War of I can't say that word is hand-drawn animation, anime style. Manga equals comic, animation series, animated movie, live action. I still want to see because I like tech, like machines, robots, things like that, and I'd like to see Hollywood do more of that stuff. It's kind of like Iron Giant. Like the genius of Iron Giant for me is like the Iron Giant is digital. It's not hand drawn. The character isn't hand drawn. But what they did instead of trying to bring the entire hand drawn cartoon uh, technology up to the rendering that a computer could do with that Iron Giant, they just made the Iron Giant line art like everything else. So the character, as long as the animation isn't too glaringly different. But the thing is, it's also a different type of character. It's a robot. If it was a human character, you could make that kind of connection to the human characters. But since it's not, it can stand as its own. So I thought it was a brilliant decision to because that stuff's hard to draw by hand, like robots, cars, any of that kind of technical stuff. Um, but they could do it this way. And so then they pretty much use the technology just to animate line art. And then they put like whatever rendering over it that matched everything else. So I remember when DreamWorks did the Sinbad movie, they had hand drawn and they had digital. But the thing is, they didn't really mesh very well. You could tell because the digital stuff was so much more elaborate than the hand drawn stuff. There was like two universes working at the same time. The one thing that I thought was pretty good is like the way Disney did it with Tarzan. So like a lot of the vines and backgrounds and stuff, and the way they had the hand drawn character move in the digital world was was pretty groundbreaking. And also they did stuff like that with Treasure Planet, which I wish was a little bit better of a story, or maybe the young the character was, I don't know, more likable. But they had the pirate guy, and so he was pretty much hand drawn. Um, but there was like digital elements to him. Like I think one of the arms was digital, the eye was digital. Like there were aspects of it, and it was like, yeah, take advantage of what the digital does well, and then kind of implement it into your 2D approach. And I love stuff like that because also if it's done seamless, you don't know. So like I'm watching Iron Giant for the first time and I'm like, holy shit, look at that robot. Like I didn't know it was digital at first. I was like, this is flawless. Who the hell animated this thing, you know? And so, it's like it's like magic, which is what this stuff's supposed to be. And so what I'd like to see, I still want to see something like Frankenstein, the Mary Shelley Frankenstein, and do it on a Disney level animation. Like all that, like technology, all that stuff, and maybe like it do some of it digital, aspects of it, and just really, really take advantage of what animation can do versus what like like the limitations of live action. Because to be honest, I mean the original Frankenstein is the best, flat out. But also it works because it is kind of limited, and because it's limited, you kind of buy into it more so than you would if it was present day, because there's elements to that don't really work, but that would work better in animation. Like you could suspend disbelief in animation way more than you can with live action. We've already talked about that. So I would love to see just, I mean, Hunchback to me was disappointing because they kind of got rid of the horror aspects of that, right? And I thought the design of the Hunchback wasn't quite as horrific as it should have been. So I would like to. I don't think Disney would do it, but like when I say Disney like animation, I mean like top of the line animation, effects artists, all this stuff, and do a Frankenstein story with a killer design, definitely based on the Boris Karloff design, and and retell the story, because I think animation is the one frontier that they haven't tried to tell that story with yet, and I think it would probably be the best. For my sensibilities, it would be the best because, like, when you try to explain it, even that Kenneth Branagh one, they try to explain the science behind it, it's like, it only goes so far. "Oh, lightning will reanimate dead tissue." Okay, but it's a whole body. It's a brain, it's everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like once you start, it's kind of like when you start getting into it, it falls apart. Like the details fall apart. Unless they can figure out a real new way, fresh way to sell that idea of reanimating dead flesh, right? Because this isn't just like a hand moving. This is like a whole complex nervous system, a brain, eyes, touch, everything, like all your senses. So I think animation would work really, really well. And I had this visual idea of bringing the monster to life in like crazy classic Disney, like lightning flying all over, things blowing up, just shit going crazy, and then just showing the monster come to life. I think would be awesome. Before Disney shut down classic animation, Home on the Range was their last project. Years later, Lasseter brought back with Princess and the Frog. Princess and the Frog is a gorgeous film. Um, that movie, as soon as they focus on the frogs, that movie falls apart for me. Like all the live action, or not live action, but all the human characters in the story are way more interesting than any of the animals. Like the frogs, who cares? I didn't care about either one of those frogs. All the characters in the bayou, I didn't care about. The trumpet playing alligator, who cares? Like none of that stuff I thought was great. I didn't think the design work was that good. I thought those frogs, the design was like major letdown for as much as that movie, used them. I thought the frog parts were the absolute worst. I loved all the town. I like the opening, where they establish her and Tiana and the town and the restaurant that she wants to open and her father and all that stuff. That stuff is mind-boggling. It's so freaking good. Um, so the movie, like, who cares, right? Pedro says, if it weren't for TV series and streaming, classic animation would be dead. Yeah, sad, sad but true. Crazy Cat says, isn't it ironic that puppetry has fallen by the wayside thanks to CGI, and puppetry could be done so skillfully, yes, than ever before by just digitally erasing the puppeteer. Also, I mean, they can still do it with cables. They can hide all that stuff, because film, I mean, you can purposefully put the camera in places that you can't see all the puppeteers. So you could do all that stuff, and also you can program that stuff. I mean, you could program these puppets to do X, Y, Z, and then they could do it take after take after take. So you could have actors working with puppet actors, so then all that phony baloney stuff, like eye level stuff, all the lighting, all that complex stuff that you have to do digitally, you don't have to worry about because it's all right there in front of the camera. The lighting on the puppet is the same as the lighting on the actors and the environment and all this other stuff. I think it'd be cool. And then there is a certain level of CGI that you could do, but do it like, I think the combination stuff is the best way to do it, because then your eye doesn't get your eye doesn't pick up on how they did it. Your brain is always kind of like trying to figure out, like, is this CGI? Is this a puppet? What is this? Is this a guy in a suit? Like the thing is, like you have like Jurassic Park. There were still dinosaurs that were like these robotic things, and I think that shit's cool, man. That to me is like filmmaking, where you have this giant, T-Rex, that's coming down on the car and actually ramming it with his head and stuff like that. And then you have like guys in suits, raptor suits, and you have all the in between. That's great. Like when you have to pull back and show a full body shot of the character running or walking or whatever, do it CGI, full CGI, and then for close-ups and stuff like that, do puppets or whatever it is. Like do stuff like that, I think would be really cool. And I think actors would appreciate it more. Because I remember the actors with Lord of the Rings, like they went to those environments, they built those castles, they built that stuff. It was all physical. So then the actors were like, we don't have to pretend we're there. We are there. You know what I mean? So then they can focus on other things. Their imagination doesn't have to go, well, I think this is it. This is what this is. They're there. So then they can actually be teleported to that reality, that place, because it's actually tangible. I remember like Ridley Scott talking about, like, he likes to give actors as much as possible. So even if they open a drawer and the camera doesn't see it, the stuff in that drawer is what's supposed to be in that drawer, right? So then the actor, it feels real and tangible to them. And I do think there is merit to that, and also, if I was making film, I wouldn't want to spend all my time in an editing bay, like working on these digital stuff. I would want to be out there making films, on location, with a crew and all that other stuff. Some of the best scenes in movies was because the plans weren't able to be done. Like Jaws, like the robot shark wouldn't work. So they kind of had to build this mystery into the shark attacks, because they couldn't show it, and even the first Alien, like they knew that that guy in the suit could only go so far, and that in certain ways it looked phony if they used it too much. So they used it sparingly. And so every time you see it, it's absolutely horrific. It's horrifying, right? So and then even like there's stuff like, well, there was a storm and it just kicked up and we said keep it rolling. And so then, I think the one of the was it the Star Wars films on Hoth, I think that some of that was a real storm, so they had Mark Hamill go out there with a puppet, Tauntaun or whatever, and walk in the snow and things. So some of this stuff happens, and if you keep things rolling, it brings like this reality to the scene that you couldn't have gotten any other way. Even like there's a scene where in Blade Runner where the stuntman as Deckard leaps and then he can't make the jump and then he catches himself on a girder and then pulls himself up. That just happened. The stunt guy was tired. That trench coat was watered down so it weighed more. And so you know, he didn't make the jump. And so he caught the side and did all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, it's a way better scene, right? Than it would have been any other way. So there's stuff that happens on sets that you can't reenact. You can't like they just happen. Joe says, yes, The Princess and the Frog is great animation. The woke pushed out John Lasseter from his own company, Pixar. Yeah, it's horrible, horrible. I don't think he deserved that. But you know what? The powers that be, like, oh, we don't want to be reminded that we suck. So let's get rid of this guy that's obviously gifted. Let's get rid of him so then we can control it. Like what the fuck is wrong with like your head? Like this guy is really good at his job. He built this thing from the ground up. He's still making good stuff. It wasn't like he was making just flop after flop after flop. He wasn't. So you fired him prematurely from a company that he created just for what? So Iger could not be challenged, creatively, or he could put in a puppet so that he could run Pixar, like none of that makes any sense because if you're truly about creating art and entertaining people, this has nothing to do with that. This is just your ego getting the better of you. Like, just admit to yourself, you're not a creative person. You're not, and you never will be. But you have resources. You can hire people that can do these things. Like why would you keep Kathleen Kennedy in power unless she was some kind of puppet? Unless she was subservient to you? Unless she was carrying out orders that you wanted, right? She's obviously not making good film. She's obviously destroying a franchise. It's obvious, but you don't do anything about it. That to me means you did everything on purpose. This is exactly what you wanted. Because if it wasn't, you would have changed it. And the only way it's going to change is if outside forces push the change on the powers that be. That's the only way it's going to change. And the thing is to me as a creative person, like I already explained about like DC and Marvel in the day, hire good people and then get the hell out of the way. Trust that they're going to be able to do what they say they can do. Of course, oversee the project. Of course, if there's parts of their personality that you don't like or you don't trust, have people in place that can oversee these things, right? Do that. Like I heard, okay, Tim Burton, all right, that Batman film. They already knew Burton had this great visual. Like he's a visual director. He's not necessarily a story director or a character director. He's environment, like he's art direction. And he's really, really good at it. So what I heard, because I had a lot of friends that knew Sam Hamm and different people that were working on that Batman film, the first one. And they said they came up with a great script, Sam Hamm script, and they gave Tim Burton marching orders. And they said, do not veer from this script. This is the Bible. Do not veer from it. You can create the universe around it. You can do all that stuff, but this is the story. And then also they were involved with the casting. So there's kind of like what Tim Burton wanted, but then there's what the studio wanted too, right? So this is all early on, like, okay, we got this guy and we know his limitations. So we're going to kind of be upfront about it and tell this guy, if you want this job, this is the parameters that you have to work within, right? So Tim Burton being creative guy, great opportunity. He takes a job, makes this beautiful film, right? Gotham, all of this stuff, this design work, very limited for the time, but I still think art directionally, it was one of the best Batman films, right? So he made it work, right? You gave him the parameters, you trusted him that he could do this, he executed it, right? So then the second movie, Batman 2, the cowl is from that movie. There were elements of that film that were good, but on record, Tim Burton said, I didn't really want to direct a Batman film. I wanted to direct a Gotham film. So then Gotham City was more of a character. So he veered from the first film because he could, because he had the success. And so Warner Brothers gave him more leeway. And so I don't think that second film was as successful, the narrative, the story, because Tim Burton was able to do more Tim Burton stuff. And so I think, because like, why is Vicky Vale not in that film? I read a script. Vicky Vale was in a Sam Hamm, I think, treatment or script at one point, and also like there was Robin. Robin was in that second movie, so there was Vicky Vale and Robin, which made a ton of sense because you have this woman that's falling for Bruce Wayne. She's trying to understand this whole Batman thing. And then there's a teen that's brought in. I think it was going to be like one of the Wayne's brothers was going to be brought in. And then, he was one of the Graysons. And then this horrific thing happens. And then Bruce Wayne brings him in. Well, now all of a sudden, there's kind of this mom dad dynamic. There's this thing that's happening. So as a narrative, you have stuff to play with. And it could have been the heart of the film, but there's no heart in that movie. It just kind of, I really couldn't even tell you what that film is about. It's got some great villain moments. It's got some great eye candy. But other than that, it's not really a Batman film. Batman's not even really in it that much. Um, let's see. If you enjoy stop motion, check this. Yeah, you guys check that out. Yeah, Joe, and Pixar hasn't recovered from getting rid of Mr. Lasseter. Yeah, I'm really hoping, is it called Blue Sky or something like that? That Lasseter's working, and the thing is, Lasseter's also bringing a lot of like Pixar people over and Disney people over to his new company or the company that he's working with. Because I heard Brad Bird's next creation is going to be there, and I think he's going to do something with robots or something. That's probably going to be my movie because also if you think about the Incredibles, just like the robots, the Omnidroid, and some of that stuff, this is so freaking cool. Creators Outlet, what's up? How are you? Crazy Cat, John Favreau directed Iron Man, who came out of indie films with Swingers. Remember that movie, Art? It was great, very identifiable. Yeah, of course. Torchbearer Studio says, morning chat. We're still getting people in. Good. Hey, you guys, if you could give a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so and ring that bell for notification. I would be remiss in my duties, my streaming duties, if I did not show you this. Speaking of creativity, getting out of the way, letting people create stuff, whole cloth. This is black and white, no corporate mandates here, you guys. I answer to you, and so far it has paid off. So we are at 16,907, you guys, 216 backers. We're starting week 3 with this campaign, and under $200, you guys. Like we get like 3 or 4 backers today. We can knock that thing over to 17K, which would make this old heart sing. I would appreciate that, and yeah, support these indie books. Uh, More importantly, the indie spirit. This is, all this stuff is what is going to make the world interesting and good again. Is like you see it in our politics. You see kind of groundswell of independent thinkers, independent creative people, that are putting like single visions together and putting them out there. Like I think that people's faith in corporations and companies and stuff is waning more and more every day. So I do think this is the future. Creating stuff, Hack Shack Studios, Hack Shack Comics, being able to create stuff for you. At least everything that I've seen so far, all my observations have pointed in this direction. I love this video. Woo! One more. Yeah, you guys. Absolutely. It's amazing to be still after 30 years telling black and white stories. Sins of the Father is going to it's going to floor you guys. It's such a great story. I dig these characters. I love the world that I managed to come up with. It's this universe, this world is completely different from the original 94 version. So we're kind of in a future tense story. So high tech is running amok. We have sentient robots. Of course, they're illegal in this world, and we have supernatural. So you're gonna get high tech meets supernatural. I think it's a great combination. Um, if you remember, okay, this isn't quite spoiler, but this is just kind of connecting dots for you guys because I've been teasing that there's been a supernatural aspect to black and white from the very, very beginning. So if you guys remember the or as Little Whitney's son called it, the pretty purple rock, um, that is supernatural in origin. So that is a mineral that is supernatural based. And so if you remember the story of one and two, what powers the black and white suits? Eh? 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 All right, you guys, that's all I'm going to say about that. So, with Sins of the Father, we really overtly get into the supernatural. So, we're going to have technomancer. Her name is she's a voodoo priestess. Her name is Juju, and she's the lady with the striking derriere and very little clothing. And so she uses technology to raise the dead. And so there's going to be a lot more overt supernatural. We have an immortal in the story as well. And of course, there's going to be robot battles, you guys. That's black and white's main thing. They're robot fighters. So we're going to get to see how they not only fight robots in this, but how they fight, hordes of the undead. So here's some of the covers here. So we have the Reed and Whitney black and white fighting bots. That's the A cover. We have them not even really fighting; they're just being overwhelmed by zombie warriors that Juju has brought to light. And then we have the C cover, which is drawn by Carlo Barberi. He is the artist that we shared art duties on Super Sons for DC Comics. That was the book I was working on before I left to do black and white. So I left DC Comics so I could do black and white specifically. And then of course we're going to announce the D cover very, very, very soon. You guys keep letting who is it? Who is it? You guys are guessing who it is, and you're all wrong. So here is Lord Fakin and Juju. Bigger image of it. So this is the B cover, and then a nice big image of Carlo Barberi's cover. So that's pretty much the main book, but we also have this fantastic High Octane 2. So not only did we put out one book, but now we're working on the second book. Popular demand, you guys. You guys, absolutely loved the first book, and so we're bringing this back. These are one and dones, so they're 22-page one and dones in this wonderful animated style that Pedro Ang has come up with. I'd say Pedro Ang is Comics Gates. He's homegrown, baby. He reached out to me, drew these great cartoon versions of black and white. I fell in love with them, and I had to use them for something. So I talked to Von Klaus, and we came up with this story, and then Pedro put it together. And that was his first comic. So volume 1 of Black and White High Octane Adventures is Pedro's first comic book. And so he's been working in animation for years, but his first comic book. And he hit an absolute, home run, a grand slam home run. He brought everybody home, and they all scored. And so I had to do this, you guys. Pedro gave a shot at this cover. I liked it, but I was like, I want to draw it. So I kind of took his doodle and I ran with it. And this is the cover here. I do have to give him credit. Not only for the design, but also the background is all him. So the electric eye, that is Pedro's. This is kind of like a jam, if you will, of the two of our talents. And then, of course, I brought Brian A. Mag into this, and he did a fantastic color job on this. I love this cover. you guys, I'm gonna do something with it. We're gonna do stickers, or we're gonna do trading cards, or something with this image. Because the cool thing about it is the figures are fully there. Like, they're not cropped in any way. So you can actually do some really cool stuff with the figures. Like, a lot of times, like covers, things get cropped out, like parts of body and things like that. But these guys aren't. So I think it would really work cool with t-shirts, things like that. I'm also talking to Red Valkyrie about bringing some t-shirts back to the campaign. She did the t-shirts for the Man versus Machine campaign. So we may be doing some high octane t-shirts. And then this is Pedro's artwork right here. Look at this stuff, man. So here's three examples of Pedro's pencils, inks, and colors. And we're gonna kind of do like a gremlin story with this thing. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. Pamela tells me all the time, she goes, "This is what Pedro's doing. These high octane books are her favorite." So the stuff that I work on, she doesn't seem to care about. But she really likes the high octane stuff. So yeah, you guys, we got that. And let me see. We got some original artwork here. The B cover has been spoken for, but we still have the main cover. We have the Carlo Barberi, and we have the high octane cover as well. And so then, of course, Juju is the big bad, and the only place you can get this 11 by 17 print is in the Jam. So you guys, back the Jam. And also, just we got the stretch goals here, but just I want to let you know that we do have issues 1, 2, and 3. So we have those still as early birds. So we only have 9 left. So if you want a discount, you can get issue 1, 2, and 3, and that will pretty much get you up to all the stories that have been told up to this point. So one thing I do want to stress, volume 3 is the first part of a two-part story. So volume 1 is the first part, this and volume 2 is the second part of the Man versus Machine storyline. So 3 starts the new storyline, and then 4 will conclude it. So there are 2 parts to the next storyline, which is the Sins of the Father. So I just want to let you know that I am pumping it. I am trying to get this stuff out a lot quicker for you guys, so we can tell more stories and get more books to you. So that's pretty much the campaign, you guys. If you have not backed, please do so, because we can hit that 17K today. I think depends on the tier. I mean, we could probably do this in 3 backers, definitely 4 though. So thanks, guys. Thanks for all the support so far. I do appreciate it. If you've already backed, if you could, share out on your social media, I would appreciate it. I would. Sheldon says, yeah, they let them slowly connect the movies, mostly by hinting the other movies and building anticipation. Are we talking about the Marvel stuff? Yeah. The greatest trilogy from MCU is the Captain America movies. Yeah, they're all great. They're all great, and they all work. Animation is an occupation that lives in obscurity. The team is what counts. That is grounded into everyone who goes into the film, into the field. Yeah, I've talked to different animators that have done comic books and animation, like Eric Canetti and oh my gosh, what is his name? The writer, not Bruce Timm, but the writer of the Batman Adventures. But anyway, like, there's been various people that I've talked to that do animation, and they say, like, yeah, you don't really you can't really get too full of yourself. They said that's what happened to John Quick Falusi on Ren and Stimpy. Is that guy got a little? I don't think. I mean, there's always two sides of it. I think that John did do some things wrong, but I think controlling what you're doing, trying to get credit for it, maybe trying to get more time for your teams, things like that. Some of that stuff wasn't wrong, but he definitely challenged the network, and so he lost. They fired him, and they kept going with Ren and Stimpy. So, really, the best thing to do is like Pedro says, like a lot of those animators, they realize that they're a piece, and some of them are like a big piece, but they always kind of have to remind themselves that they're just a cog in the machine, and not to get too heady about it. And then they kind of like to do comics because they don't have to compromise. They don't have to work with the team. They can do it all themselves. And so they like that. And also, I think it feeds their ego a little bit. So I never quite thought about it before, but yeah, like comic books are like black and white is me. You know what I mean? I do work with other people, but it's not necessarily a corporation that's mandating things and have a bunch of input coming in from different places. I create it, and if you guys like it, that's it. That's as complex as it gets. You're my focus group. You're my production. You're my producers. You're all those things. So without you, I can't make these things. Um, the the robot design took a lot from yeah, Castle in the Sky. Exactly, with the kind of the arms and the rounded shapes. That robot was killer. There's a shot of the robot. I think the first one you see is kind of all dilapidated, and it's kind of like it's just kind of in the woods. I always like that. I think it probably harkens back to like the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz. I don't know. There's something about like this beat up machine that prematurely shut down, still has a lot of hours in it left. It still has life in it, but it just kind of shut down. And I like that idea. Having said that, I think I'm going to do something like that in black and white. That's not a bad idea because I think it's emotional too. It's kind of, you could also do like the bot was shot down in its prime. So it could be a battle bot, that went down with its boots on, but still had life in it, but just didn't have anybody to care for, it, or somehow it gets brought back to life through supernatural means or something like that. We do have the pretty purple rock, as Whitney sung, young Whitney refers to it. So you know, we can do really anything with that. Did the frogs turn gay? I don't know, but I saw a super chat. I can't. I'm just gonna scroll. Oh, here we go before I lose it. Thank you so much, Sheldon Martin, for the 4.99. Did you watch any of the Studio Ghibli movies, Art? I think I've seen them all. At least the majority of them. They're still mostly hand-drawn cells. Also, here's money. Thank you. You did not have to do that. I do appreciate that's $5 that I'll be able to put towards my new StreamYard expenses. So I do appreciate thank you so much for that. Oh my gosh. I love talking animation. Music and animation, those are my passions. You'd think comic books, um, but I do them all the time. Like that's my job. So I still do get excited with like really, really good comic books and good creators. But for the most part, I mean, it has to be really outstanding. Like what Shane Davis is doing. Holy shit, dude. That book is amazing. I actually the new pages that um, Graham Nolan has been putting up, the Monster Island stuff. He loves those characters. He understands that world, and I think because I think this is the last chapter in the story. I think he's putting everything into this book 'cause it looks great. Let me see. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You can't find a modern egg Shen. Impossible. Both those guys. There's Egg Shen. I forget the other guy. Egg Shen. He's the villain, right? And then what's the guy's name? That's the squinty eyed guy. He's like, you know, that drove the bus. That's not Egg Shen, is it? Um, what is the villain's name? You can't replace either one of those, and you cannot replace Kurt Russell, and you cannot replace the woman, the love interest. She's so good in that. She's so earnest and sincere. It's crazy. Like the shit that comes out of her mouth is said with such conviction, and it's absurd. It's hilarious. And then some of the banter is so quick, like old school movies. Like, who the hell let Gracie Law in here? And then like Jack Burton's on the phone, and the dialogue to me is so great. It's like, and I don't want to hear wrath. What is it? Act of God. It's like it just all this stuff's happening, and then what is it? The uncle that looks like he's so straight laced. He says, "Who the hell let Gracie Law in here?" Freaking amazing! I love it's all my sensibilities are there. I explain like black and white. Don't take it too seriously. It's kind of meant to be like that, like the 90s films, like 80s, 90s films. Like, it's not supposed to be taken too seriously. Because I think that stuff is great. The action adventure. And I also think you can get away with bigger stuff, like bigger action, bigger characters. Some might go, well, it's a caricature of who cares? Like it's absolutely hilarious. Um, Let me see. That's what the original 60s TV show did. The self aware, iconic Wink. It's just kids didn't understand the irony, and Wink and only took it seriously. I think it. I think the actors took it seriously too. Like I don't think Adam West and Burt Ward were like, this is silly and this is stupid. Like everything, like the bat repellent, all that stuff, they said it with a straight face. So I think older people saw that it was kind of ridiculous, but I don't think it was ever like ironic. I think it took itself seriously. It was earnest, but it was just so broad. It was just so like the premise was ridiculous, but the world, the characters took it seriously. Like everything that was happening to Batman and Robin was life and death. It was all earnest, you know. So I mean, it's like the Three Stooges. I bring up this analogy all the time. Like the genius of the Three Stooges is they take it seriously. When they hit each other in the head with hammers, it's not a joke. They're hitting each other in the heads with hammers. It's like the sound effect, a punk, all that stuff. Like that's where the humor's at. But they're in the moment. They're taking it seriously. They're getting pissed off. They're attacking each other. They're doing all that stuff. So I do think like that's the part that's missing because like if they did that now, like one of those guys would look at the camera and go like, can you believe this is happening? That type of thing. And it would be too self-aware. Um, Yeah, maybe that's it. It's too self-aware. Like these things, it, it's just it is what it is. And I think the genius of it is that the actors are taking it seriously. Um, Wise Guys Entertainment says exactly. Hey, we got Nicholas Gear in the house. What's up? Wise Guy says, well, we got a Nicholas fan. Uh, that's one of my favorite parts when you guys say hi to each other. It's kind of like we're all, at a party and we know each other, and every morning we get together. Uh, didn't George Lucas do that in the new graphics? Yeah, yeah, with the Jabba scene and stuff. Um, I liked the idea, but I think some of it he took it a little too far. Like I wouldn't really extend the scenes necessarily. I think it's a good selling point though, like the way George did it. It was a good selling point because it was like seeing the movie for the first time, and there's also new scenes that are added to it because you can get people into a theater that way. And I'm sure there were, well, you know what? I'm not sure if there were scenes from Big Trouble in Little China that were deleted. And if so, you might be able to bring those into the film and then help sell the movie. I saw pieces. I didn't see the movie itself, but I know what you're talking about, and it did. It looked really cool. Yes, that's what I've been saying forever. We need more robots. Yeah, Max Fleischer drew killer giant robots back in the 30s. I like all robots. I want to Now that I'm talking with you guys, I'm actually getting some ideas about story. But we could do like a vintage bot in the story. So we could do like an old like rivet. There it is. There's the story right there. Okay. So I never want to kind of with black and white, I never want to say it's part of this world or part of this world. I want it to be kind of like it's all made up, right? It's a made up future. It's it's not me taking tech of this day and then projecting it in a realistic way into the future. It's not like that at all. So I never really want to make references um, to contemporary things unless the reference is like it's really dated. Like I think in black and white, um high octane one, there's a reference to the A team. But the way I could justify it is like this stuff still exists, even if it's 50 years in the future or 100 years in the future. I mean, there's obviously like there are things that in this black and white universe that are shared with contemporary times and the past. So those things still exist, but I'm gonna choose and I'm gonna pick and choose. And I don't want too many like isms of our time, because I think that throws it off. So, but she does reference 18, but the way I look at it as like she was a fan of vintage TV or just a fan of that TV show. You know what I mean? So to her, that show could be 100 years old, you know. But we never dated either. We never say, "Oh, that stuff from you know whatever timeline." It just kind of is what it is. Yeah, that didn't work for a Titan AE classically mixed with was at odds. Yeah, with the CG. Yeah, they tried it a couple times. I don't think it was ever that successful. But I think like the Tarzan movie did it pretty well, and then Treasure Planet. Tarzan used a Disney property software called Deep Canvas. It allows artists to paint over CG models. One of the animation teachers worked on Tarzan. Is that Brigida uh, Poleni? Cool, man. Yeah, I mean, Pedro's the real deal, you guys. Like he had some crazy ass mentors, and he's done some killer animation in his time. I'm just going to call you Dark Star. Welcome to the chat. How's that? Maybe I'll say it. Yotam? Yotam Dark Star? All right. All right. Um, all right. I'm going to try to move it because we're kind of, I slow down and then I try to play catch up. I agree. I agree. But also, I'm like, why are you doing it? Like they do like Lilo and Stitch, but Stitch looks exactly like the animated character. Like they do How to Train Your Dragon, but what is his name? Hiccup or whatever the character's called, the Black Dragon. It looks just like the cartoon version. It's just weird. Let me see. Crazy Cat says, "Did you hear that Disney can't make a sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit because Jessica Rabbit is just too sexy?" Um, yeah, and also there's just too many legalities. Like, I think that was one in a million kind of venture because a lot of those characters, like Disney and Warner Brothers, and then all the other various. There's just so many things that had to come together legally for that to happen. Uh, so I don't. I just think legally it's not going to happen. But yeah, it's a shame. Like you create this this Baba Boom vixen that was obviously part of old comic lore or cartoon lore, and you neuter her. Like these things exist. Why does society have to pretend that there aren't like gorgeous men and women in the world? Like, why do we have to do that? I said on like Katie Did's channel yesterday morning, I was like, if I want regular people, if I want representation, the freaking world exists. I can go outside my door and I can see ugly people. Like I can see people. Society represents itself. Movies, films, TV, entertainment is heightened. It's heightened reality. It was never reality. Um, so if you're going to pay money, why would you want to see somebody that looks like your neighbor? You know, and there's still people in the film that look like your neighbor. There's extras, there's character actors, there's all these other things, but primarily your leads are attractive people. I don't see anything wrong with that. You have runway models, you have fashion models, male and female. They're in great shape. They're attractive. Something to aspire to, you know? I think if somebody is attractive that is making you feel bad, or shaming you, well, that's not good. But just by their sheer existence, I don't think that's shaming. Joe Bernardo says Lasseter was hired to head, it's Skydance Animation, a new animation division of Skydance Media. There were no findings of secret settlements by Disney or Lasseter to any parties asking for settlement. Yeah, I mean, there had to have been some kind of shenanigans. Something was going on. And I don't know if we're ever going to know the true details of it. Stephen Rockwood says Art's got his life-filled cover. I'm not saying it's not. Uh, I will say this, and this is fact, and this is truth. I did ask Rob to do a black and white cover, and he said he would do it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. John Kay used to have his studio in North Vancouver while producing Ren and Stimpy. A lot of cleanup work of animation students at the time. Yeah, I think he was a tyrant. I think, some of that stuff was warranted. I I have to say it this way. I don't look at it as any different, but maybe I shouldn't say his name. A good friend of mine, like I said, I still look at him as a good friend. He did all like the still stuff in Ren and Stimpy. So like all that old stuff where you see like a close up on the teeth or the mouth or the eye or whatever it was. Those paintings he did, and he would talk about the studio and things like that. Yeah, Big Trouble, Kim Control, and also she was just cute beyond cute, but she was also just obnoxious enough, like, like you know how they say, and this is gonna be really sexist. It's like, don't talk, just don't say anything, just kind of be here. She's kind of that character. Oh, wait, what is this? 93. Uh, away from 17K. We need to get this campaign up to Art's age. Yeah, my 93 age. Sins of the Father, you guys. Click that link. Go over there and back Black and White today. All right. Yeah, $93. We're $93 away. So thank you, Randy Howe, for that. Oh shit. I'm gonna spend some, you know what? My day off, my Thanksgiving day off, I am going to watch Big Trouble in Little China. I am so freaking lucky. My wife loves that shit. I mean, she loves it. Like we quote these movies all the time. Oh, there's no way any of that Looney Tunes stuff would be allowed. I mean, they were trying to ban it in what, the 70s or 80s. They were already kind of retooling that stuff. Like they thought, like seriously, some idiots were thinking, like, you know what? Some kid's gonna drop an anvil on some other kid's head. And like, has it ever really happened? No. And it's weird. There's one that kind of is questionable for me. And I don't know. Let's see what you guys think. Okay, when they did the Fantastic Four cartoon, they thought that the Human Torch wouldn't be good for kids to see because it's basically a human that's bursting in flames. It's pretty horrific, right? And so they were afraid that I guess some kid was going to set himself on fire. Um, are there are there people with screw loose? Yeah. Are there people that would listen to a song and think it's speaking to them and go out and do something horrible? Yeah, but I already think those people were screwed up to begin with. I think they just needed something to channel it. And even like kids can have a screw loose. So um I don't know how I really feel about that because there is a side that goes, well, it is pretty horrific, and these are more human type characters, like Looney Tunes. Those are animals. Those aren't even like people, kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think like it's still kind of ridiculous to actually think that a kid would do something like this, but I don't know. To be on the safe side, maybe don't show it. Didn't they replace him with a robot or something? And it was just kind of a stupid robot. So what I would have done is I would have done something with flaming, like a robot that had flaming ability or something like that. Not necessarily burst into flames, but maybe had some kind of, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done, but I can see, that you don't want kids playing with fire. I definitely understand that. So maybe fire is not the best thing. But to back up, it's a cartoon. Even as a kid, a young kid, I knew it was a cartoon. I knew it wasn't real, right? I knew that this stuff was not, like these weren't real characters. These were drawn characters for my entertainment. And so there's that. And then there's the fact that it existed in a comic book that was aimed at kids. So there were young kids that were buying the Fantastic Four or the Human Torch books even before that, and they weren't setting themselves on fire. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that stuff, but I could see how you could pitch that and then have it go that direction. Like we want to do a Fantastic Four cartoon, but we're not going to do this character that bursts into flames. Yeah. Robert Zemeckis made the production of Who Framed Roger Rabbit insufferable for animators. Andy Serkis and Robert Zemeckis are on my shit list. Um, yeah, and the thing is, I think Robert Zemeckis comes up with some good ideas, Back to the Future stuff like that, and Forrest Gump. But if you watch the Polar Express, that movie is unwatchable. Like the uncanny valley in that. I don't know what those characters are. They're not human. They're not animated. There's no charm to the design. That is weird. And also, even before that was made into a movie, it was a T-Bear like Christmas tradition. Like every night before Amanda went to bed, we read that was one of the stories we read to her. And the book is great. The movie is horrible. Like I think like when Universal or whoever tried to make the Grinch into like a 2-hour movie, I think you killed it because there's this visceralness to the quick idea, you know, and the Polar Express has that, beginning, middle, and end. It kind of all stays focused and you can track it. And then when the payoff hits, it really hits because it's all still fresh. You don't have to go an hour into it and then come back to the point. And the Grinch is Stole Christmas does the same. Like the cartoon is perfect. It's like 20 some odd minutes and it's visceral. It kind of gets you in, gets you out, and all the points are made, right? But when you have to go 2 hours, it just stretches everything out to the point where it's like, what am I watching? And I don't even understand the point anymore to any of this stuff, And I thought like The Grinch Stole Christmas, there are a lot of people that like that movie. That's fine, but I think that they lost the narrative and the point of that story, and I think the Polar Express did the same thing. And the Polar Express is worse because the animation, even at the time, they were trying to herald it as like this is great stuff. It never was great. I always thought it was weird looking. And I think Robert Zemeckis is doing something again with Tom Hanks, where they're de-aging him or something like that. They're trying to do through the decades story. And I'll tell you, I don't trust Hollywood anymore. If this was maybe 20 years ago, I would be excited about it. But now I'm just like, it it's not good. I don't trust it, Maybe if there's good word of mouth, I'll go see it. But I don't want to be preached to, and I don't want the same old, like he kind of does the same formula, like with these dated pieces and then contemporary and goes back and forth through time, kind of like Forrest Gump, or Back to the Future, these type of stories. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I never heard that he was a horrible person though. Yeah, exactly. Tex Avery's Red Hot Riding Hood was likely the forerunner for just exactly, for sure. I always like the one where the character's got like this va va boom body, right? And you only see this character from the back, and then you think, oh my god, this character's going to be gorgeous, and then they turn around, it's like he's a man, and it's got this ugly ass face, and then starts chasing the character with these big smoochy kiss lips, and it gets me every time. I love that stuff. I have an original Betty Boop It's on my wall over here. I have the pencil drawing and I have the finished drawing. Yeah, so it's one of the high points in my collection as well. Yeah, I mean, she was boop boop beady boop. She was kind of a vixen, but very very cute. Oh, thank you so much, Devil Flyer. Thank you, Crazy Cat. Yes, back black and white today. Was she really? Oh, she must have been a kid. That Porky's is a dirty movie. It's a dirty movie. John Bird made a story of that during his run of Fantastic Four with Johnny. Yeah, I think what was that cartoon called? The something Brothers. What was that show called? It was kind of like Johnny Quest and all those adventure Hanna-Barbera things, and they did like this Fantastic Four group of characters, and it was like traumatic. So every time the torch ignited, it hurt that guy, like he's screaming in pain. So he's in like a chamber that starves it of oxygen, I guess. So it was horrible. And I think the Invisible Woman just turned invisible, and no one could ever find her. So she just kind of kept becoming nothing. And she finally just completely disappeared out of reality. I shaped my life and behavior with Foghorn Leghorn. Yeah, yeah. All right, you guys. I got something else I want to show you, and I gotta see where you fit in or how you feel about this. Okay. I was talking to Shay the Red Valkyrie, and she pitched this to me. Okay, I know ugly Christmas sweaters are a thing, um, but I just don't know how many people would actually want to wear an ugly Inco sweater. I know that some of you guys are like big time Inco fans, and I don't blame you, man. I dig Inco. I would love to do this, but I just don't know about mass marketing these things. So let me know in the chat what you think. I don't know if I should just do maybe through I don't know, PayPal, offer these things, or if I should add them to the black and white campaign. But the idea would be to try to get them to you before Christmas. So I have to talk to Shay about it. And I think they can kind of make these on demand. So as we get the orders, we can fulfill the orders. And to be honest, I mean, like t-shirts, stuff like that, there's not a big profit margin in them anyway, but it's just fun, right? I think it would be fun to do like a crazy ugly Christmas sweater with Inko on it. And for some reason, I'm thinking I'm going to send them to my family. Like, I don't think my family really follows my career, but it just seems like something you have to do, right? Send them an ugly sweater. And so, yeah, there's this, and she put this together. So it's black, like the collar and the trim is black with green sleeves. And then there's this one that's black on black. I think I like the green sleeves better. Yeah, so you guys let me know what you think. Should I offer these? And I don't know, even if we sell just a handful of them, it could be fun, you know. You guys can post images, with your family get together with your stupid, ugly Eco tee or sweatshirt or sweater, I should say, on. Yeah. Sitting around drinking eggnog, unwrapping Christmas presents with the Inco spirit. Yeah, let the Inco spirit move you. Ooh, Ooh, there's the tagline. I'm going to write this down. Let the eco spirit move you this holiday season. Let the eco spirit move you this holiday season. Well, we got our tagline. We got our tagline. All right, you guys. So yeah, let me know. And I'm gonna wrap this up, but I want to show you this. I want to show progress of black and white. I am very, very proud of this book. I showed you one of these pages the other day, but I just want to show you. Um, this is my work over the breakdowns of Alan Patrick. And so I did show you guys some before and after of kind of how it works. But oh my gosh, just look at, I mean, the bare bum aside, yeah, I don't know, man. This I would put this against any top tier comic books that's out right now. And I I usually don't get this brash. I'm usually a lot more humble, but I do think this can hold its own against, I don't know, the top 5, top 10 comics in the industry right now. I hope that doesn't come across too arrogant. I don't mean it that way, but I just I'm looking at it, and sometimes it's just like you got to call it for what it is. I mean, this is pretty amazing stuff. The composition on that last panel, I think, is really great. And I put it together like there's mist, like she's kind of walking into the jungle, but there's like this mist that's kind of coming up and engulfing her, and she's just leaving that guy behind. And he's frozen in place, like she froze him. So this is kind of a take on the original '95 black and white code name series that we were putting out. So Juju is in that story, and so is this Indiana Jones type character. So yeah, you guys, if you like what you see, support the book, give it a backing, and I am working my ass off on this thing. I want to make the best product for you guys, the most entertaining stories I can do, I can come up with, and I think this is going to be a win-win. Also, we still have the color work from Brian A. Mag, and he just elevates it one notch above. I'm really, really thinking. I know I said this with the last black and white, but I may put a black and white volume out because I think this stuff looks great. I mean, this is blown up. This is big, and it's still the line work and everything's holding up. And there's this one that I showed you. I think I showed you this one the other day. So this is still the exchange between these two characters. So yeah, I really dig the shot right here. And then of course the payoff. Like, listen, sugar. I forget. Pamela gives her like a Jamaican accent. Um, so she's got an accent. It's not quite, the rogue accent or anything like that. Or even like the gambit. There may be some kind of gambit isms in there. But there is an alter ego to this character. So her name is Juliet. And so we are going to get to see this gorgeous, gorgeous character without the mask on there. So I had been going back and forth, and I talked to Shay when I went on her show, and this is going to be a mask. So it's kind of like a half like Phantom of the Opera mask, where it's not full face. So the lower, like where the mouth is and the chin, that's her face, and then of course behind the eyes. But I didn't want to do the corny like she puts on a costume kind of thing. So Shay and I were taught, I think it was Shay, um, maybe it was Katie did that there's this mist that will form around her. No, I think it was Shay. And so then that will transform her into this look. But it still is kind of a uniform or a costume, you know. So there you guys go. So yeah, if you like what you see, please give it a backing. I would appreciate it, and it will allow me to pretty much keep the lights on in the studio and make more books for you, which is all I want to do. That's all I want. My time on this earth. I just want to draw and write stories for you guys. That's pretty much it. I'm going to touch base, see where you guys are, and then call it a day. Get back to work. Polar Express is like a nightmare. It's scary. Nightmare or Polar Express is like walking corpses. Yeah, it is a weird ass movie. Yeah, go check out Phil's book, Psycho Slumber. It's like Psycho Killer. Polar Express is the mech that's trying to do animation without animators. It's CGI with raw mocap. That's why everything looks dead. I will say though, and I do believe it was Zemeckis, is Monster House. Monster House is a great movie. It is really good. It's kind of like Steven Spielberg, like old Disney, like kids, going on adventures and stuff like that. And gosh, who is it? I used to hang out with all these guys, these animators, and I forget the guy that wrote Monster House. He's either maybe you guys will know. Is it Spud the Human Torpedo or something? There's this comic book, and that guy writes or did write TV for a while. I forget the guy's name now. The human assassin or not human assassin. I forget the comic book, but it's like this yellow torpedo looking thing. Uh, but anyway, Zemeckis, I guess, directed it, but I do believe that it was from a great screenplay because that movie is really good. Like some of the animation is weird, like Polar Express weird, but the good thing about um, Monster House versus Polar Express is they don't try to make them look too realistic. Like they're definitely like caricatures, like cartoon versions of humans. So it doesn't really get it's kind of weird, but it's not completely off-putting. Some of the movements are a little strange, but Monster House is really good. I forgot about that movie. It might be one of let me think. The first Back to the Future and Monster House are my favorite Zemeckis films. I do like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but I think I've seen that movie so many times. Um, it's lost its charm. Yeah, you guys hit that button, please. Venture Brothers. Yeah, that's what it was called. That was a great idea. It was a great execution. Oh, so she's old. She's older in that then. Kim in Porky's was the gym teacher who was nicknamed Lassie because she howled at deed being done. I'm gonna look that up. I wanna see. Okay, Kim Kim Cattrall. Um, in Porky's. Porky's. I can't believe you guys. You guys are definitely age appropriate. Porky's. Kim Cattrall from Porky's. Um, I don't know if I can show this one. Is that her? Uh, there's a lot of. So she's is she kind of a nympho? There's not a lot of good shots. Hold on, I'm gonna go back because I clicked on the IMDb, but maybe oh there it is. Okay. Oh, so it's there. Wow, what a little cutie. Yeah. I think she was kind of at her all time in big trouble though. I'm trying to find something I can. The Porky's poster is hilarious. Let's see. Is this it? No, that's she's not that cute in that one. I guess I could do this one. Let me copy. Pedro showed me a trick. I'm going to use it. Control N. Yeah, look at Pedro going, and then Control V. There it is. I believe this is this is her. She's still very young though. Let me share. So, okay, you guys. This is her from Porky's, and I guess she's kind of like she's I don't know a nympho because most of the shots that were there, she was like jumping on guys and stuff. Like she's old school gym teacher. And she's got the whistle. Very cute, but man, she does look like a kid here for sure. All right, you guys. That was a fun little diversion there. Let's see. Praetor 7 says, I want a hat with Inco embroidered on it. I have a prototype. I do have a prototype. So maybe we could do just like Inco sportswear. We could do like many Inco things. I am going, well, I want to get that Christmas thing out. Maybe we could do the Christmas sweater. Um, and then we could do some Inco stuff in the garage sale. I'm going to do a Hack Jack garage sale. So maybe we could do some Inco stuff there. I think an Inco sweater should be black and white, but I get it's Christmas. Like all the Christmas things being black and white. Hmm. That might it would definitely be an ugly Christmas sweater for sure. I'd go for an Inco Halloween mask. They will be a big hit in all the major cities. Uh, he's kind of got the Groucho Marx thing. He's got glasses and the mustache. Um, Halloween mask. I don't wear ugly Christmas sweaters. LOL. I would wear that, but I would melt in. I would. Oh yeah, the heat in Panama. Inco underoos would be fun too. How would you do that? Just like put Inco on a T-shirt or right on the butt? I don't know how you would make an Inco under, or would you try to make the underoo look like Inco? That would be tough. I think the green looks better too. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Do I see Mae West in this? You guys are as old as I am. This all predates me. Uh, Mae West, hot but the majority of the cartoon focused on the wolf and his over the top lingering. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Inko blots out your negative thoughts. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I could do advertising for the shirt where I could have like a family and then I don't know, I'm not that good at Photoshop, but I might be able to like put the Inko shirts on them and then have them all like it's an Inko Christmas. Oh, I'll probably sell one or get one to you guys. Randy Howell says that's nice. I think he's talking about Juju. Looks dope art. Thank you. Art, this is the drawing of your career. It's top level. Well, I'm working with Alan as well. So never Pedro. It looks killer. Man, it makes me feel like a chimp with chalk over here. No, no. Those pages, those high octane pages are looking amazing. Oh, happy birthday to Pat Broadwick. I see Juju as a new, yeah, yeah, which is where Gambit, yeah, but we're gonna try to do it probably in a different way. I think Pamela's already kind of put it all out there. I see her, and when I hear Juju's voice, I think the accent of the voodoo priestess from Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, actually, there is a little bit of that there. They kinda made her look, she's kinda gross. Yeah, Monster House was mocap, not raw mocap. It is really good. Like, the story that's the thing is, like, the story's very compelling and the characters are good, so the animation you kind of can look a little bit away from. Like sometimes, like, production values or like sometimes things that stand out you can overlook because the story is really good and it sucks you in. And I think that Monster House works that way. Directed Monster House. So maybe um it's the production. Is it? Um yeah, I'm gonna look it up to see who was because I thought that Robert Zemeckis was involved. Robert Zemeckis, Monster House. Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 74. Yeah, it says Robert Zemeckis, executive producer. Um, Screenplay by. Okay, wait, hold on. Screenplay by Pamela Petler, and the writing team of Dan Harmon, and yeah, Rob Schrab. Um, I think that Pamela did the last draft, but yeah, Dan Harmon isn't he the oh my gosh. It's kind of based on Back to the Future. It's the two characters' names. I can't remember it now. And Rob Schrab is I think it's something the torpedo or something. Comic book creator, screenwriter, disposable. Oh, it's Scud. Scud, Scud, the disposable assassin. Feature film Monster House co-creator of the competitive film festival Channel 101. So, yeah, I met him in early pitches, and I think one of the executives was trying to get Rob and I together to write something. I forget what it was, but I like the guy and I like his work. And I think most of the heavy lifting and stuff was all done by Dan Harmon and Rob Schrab. What are those characters' names? Oh my god! it's it's got the like wacky professor guy and the young kid. So the dynamics are just like Back to the Future. Oh, there you go, Scud, the disposable assassin. Yeah. Uh, Daniel James. Well, there were two. There were two writers. Well, there are actually three writers. Yeah, I think those guys. But you know what? I mean, they're probably the main reason those things get done. You know, is because of the star power. Kim was looking best at my time. Mannequin. Huh. Huh. I didn't want. I thought that movie was weird. Like I never watched it. So to this day, I still haven't seen Mannequin. So I don't know. Let's see. What does Kim Cattrall look like in Mannequin? And oh, there it is. Yeah, not bad. She has a big floppy hat though. What's the big floppy hat all about? The big floppy mannequin hat. Yeah, there's no full body shots. There's just kind of her with this big floppy hat and like close-ups. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not really worth showing you guys. What says younger? Yeah, she's cute. But yeah, there's I don't know. There weren't a lot of great shots with mannequins, so I don't know. You guys might be on your own. Randy Howe for $2. Thank you so much. Don't get into a tug of war with Blula Ballbricker. I don't know who is that. Beulah Ballbricker. I don't know what that's from. Is that from one of those movies? Beulah Ballbricker. I like the name though. Ooh, Inco on a military style jacket. Lay the Inco be a Top Gun. Yeah, but I don't know. That seems like it'd be expensive. It'd be cool though. Was the Inco T design changed from the original design? Glasses added and mustache. Yeah, it did get actually. Gosh, I hate when I can't remember names, but somebody in the chat had redesigned Inco, and that's the one that's kind of more action packed, where he's like hey, and he's kind of like keep on trucking kind of thing. And so I like that one because it's there's movement. The other one's pretty cool where but he's kind of more stationary, and they're both really cool. So if there's anybody that wants to, give a new Inco design a shot, who knows? It might be made into a T-shirt. Yeah, I think it would just. I think the bomber jacket or whatever would be too much money though. I think it would be kind of out of people's price range. Yeah, it's Rick and Morty. Thank you. Uh, Tug of war through the wall in the shower art. Come on, man. I saw it once. I saw it. So I take it her character name was Beulah Ballbreaker. I'm sure there were all kinds of different pronunciations in that 2 hours. All right. Well, I think that's it. Let me go over the checklist. Okay, so show the new pages. I showed you the Inco ugly Christmas sweaters. We went off a tangent with Kim Cattrall and Monster House. You know what? I am gonna do this real quick because this campaign needs a little loving, and it's just weird. I've never really run two campaigns at the same time, so I always feel weird kind of showing both off at the same time. I don't know why, I just do. So here we go. This is Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. Here's the video. We got a couple backers. So thank you. There's the Eco.
Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist, Art T-Bear. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image, and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art T-Bear's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually or together as a bundle. Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now on Indiegogo.
Yeah, guys, back today. It's a beautiful looking book. This is it right here. This is the second printing. The first printing, I believe I've seen it on the interwebs going for 100 plus. So there is some collectability to these things. This is going to be limited to 300. Hey. My dog's going through stuff. I got boxes here. And sorry about that. And yeah, so there's collectability. There are going to be 300. So this is signed and numbered. There's only going to be 300 books printed. We should get those back early December. So they said they're shipping them out on the 6th of December. So if you order now, there's a good possibility that this book will be in your hot little hands before Christmas. So if you have a friend, somebody that loves good superhero comic book artwork, this could be the book for you. So we got the Kevin Nolan quote. We got some of the interiors. All kinds of good stuff here, you guys. We've got prints. So the link is in the description. I'm sure some of the mods are putting it up now. So yeah, you guys check that out. And if you like what you see, back it. We got these back from the printer. It doesn't really do justice to them, but you can kind of see the metallic trim, the way the light hits it. So this is all embossed right here. These are really gorgeous, you guys. I mean, the print job on this is high end. These are definitely suitable for framing. I'll put my John Hancock over here. So these are the mini prints, you guys. So we got those back. I'm going to open this and see if I can diminish some of the shine on them, and see if I can get a better resolution for you guys. Let me see. I don't want to ruin these things. Let me see if I can open this without messing stuff up. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, that was more challenging than I thought. The cellophane it's really on there. All right, let's see if I can slide this bad boy out. Oh yeah, way better. So these things are gorgeous, you guys. You'll love them. They'll fit right into a frame. This gold trim, like I said, it's all embossed. So it's pretty cool. All right, we got the pit one here real quick. And I'm just going to show this off. So here's the cover. I got the make readies. So here's the cover, here's the spine, and here's the back. So we got the Kevin Nolan quote. Got Inco here. So yeah, you guys, check that out. If you like what you see, give it a backing. And those books are going to be shipping before you know it. So let me see if there's anything really cool. All right, thank you, Randy, for putting up the Black and White Sins of the Father campaign, and we also have the oodles link there. So click on those suckers and pick up a black and white book, man. Pick up a oodles of doodles book. What do you only live once. You want to read some killer stories. Well, those are some killer stories. All right, man. Well, yeah, you have a great day too, you guys. I do appreciate it. I always have a great time hanging out on these morning hullabaloos. It is no longer morning for me. It is lunchtime, so I'm going to go out and grab some food, and I'll be on Bros tonight. I'm not sure who is hosting. Billy, is it Graham? Or is it Dan? I think it's Dan. Dan Frega is hosting tonight, I believe. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm sure there's going to be a bros spill. We're going to spill the ink all over the place tonight. I'm not sure what the topic is. I got to touch base with those guys, but we always have a good time. If you don't know, the Bros is a rotating show. There's 6 of us. There's Billy Tucci. There's Andy Smith. There's Dan Frega. There's Aaron Lepresti. There's Graham Nolan. And wait, who else? There's one more person. This guy. Yeah. So we're all going to be there and trying to entertain you the best we can. So you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks to everybody again for hanging out. Thank you for the super chats. You guys are the best. And I'll see you later tonight. Take care.